Hi my loves, thanks for voting in the community poll. You guys voted for water scrying and tea leaf reading in equal numbers. Just a reminder, when you vote, your energies go into the readings more, but I'll be doing tea leaf reading because I felt like doing it more. Just to say, I am back doing readings on the channel every week. I got a very big sign about what I asked for. A vision of mine that I had for myself actually played out in reality in front of me and let me know that I should keep doing what I'm doing. So that was good. But I still do have some reservations about readings in general and whether or not certain things are healthy and things like that. But I will be doing readings on the channel every week, and all of my readings at the moment are the same on my Etsy, and you know, I'm as accurate as ever. But I will be changing the types of readings that I do at some point, but just not yet because I need to like properly think about it all and be guided by spirit on that. Probably may go more into mediumship, or I'm not quite sure exactly, but things will change a lot. Not yet though. And I also have a sale on at the moment for Valentine's Day upcoming. It's running till the 9th, I think. And it's on all my love readings, my video love reading and also my written love readings and stuff like that. So if you guys want to book anything love related, also my cord cutting and my release heartbreak meditations are also on sale, in case that's more something you need. Apologies for the lipstick. Okay, so I'm going to do tea leaf. I'm just drinking, it's mugwort tea. I'm going to connect in and I'll get cards as well. I'll see where I'm guided to go. It's going to be a collective message. It will be quite channeled. I'm not sure what I'm going to get. Just a message for the collective. So let's see what where spirit wants to go. So ancestors of blood, ancestors of spirit, you are honored here. All are mourned, all are remembered. I call my beloved dead to this gateway. Only those that wish me well may enter. Connecting into my higher self, my team of light, my angels, ancestors and guides, asking for protection from Archangel Michael, my gatekeeper guide, to bar any dense or negative energies from the reading space. Connecting into anyone who may watch this reading across all time and space, asking that my energies be completely removed from this reading for the collective. Whatever needs to come through. Chances, changes, possibilities, probabilities. It's going to get esoteric, I can tell. Closing down the energies, restoring the auric fields, and wrapping us in universal love, light, and protection at the end of the reading. Without meaning to, I wanted a candle, but I'm actually doing candle scrying, which wasn't one of the options, but I'm going to do both. So I'm just going to do some channeling while I drink the tea and connect in. I'm actually going to burn some Palo Santo. What do we need to know, please, Spirit? I was getting depression, which is topaz. So some of you may be in a bit of a Four of Cups energy of just not necessarily depression, but kind of feeling a little bit lackluster. Maybe feeling like you can't take an offer, or someone hasn't been able to take your offer, but I feel like it's more yourself, like a dissatisfaction with surface issues. Some of you maybe, I'm getting like used by others and vulnerable. It's the reverse of the friendship rune, which is what's being shown to me. So you may feel some of you in your friendships that's like not an equal give and take, or you may feel vulnerable opening up to people. You may feel like you've been misled. It could be a friend or it could be anyone in your life, but it's the friendship rune in reverse is about that sort of stuff. It's like feeling apart from. I'm getting Hell, the two-faced goddess. The left side is a beautiful woman and the other is like a fearful, rotting corpse. She's the basically guardian of the realm of death, but it's maybe about these two sides, the light and the dark. The triple, I'm getting like a triple goddess aspect of like mother, maiden, crone, and maybe the dark side of the feminine. I don't get like a literal death thing, obviously, but I'm getting a dark side of the feminine energy coming from that. So you may be experiencing some shadow issues or things like that, either within yourself, or you may be subject to somebody else in their shadow, not in their highest integrity. I'm also getting 7 chakras, so some of you may need to balance the chakras. Maybe some of your chakras are too open and receptive, so that leaves you vulnerable to psychic attack. You know, you may need to really cleanse, especially if you have cleansing, like protective jewelry or anything. There's a need to actually cleanse that as well. Tonight, when I'm filming this, there is a full moon, so it's a good time sometimes to put all your crystals out in the moon to charge them. But also you may be feeling a bit overwhelmed if you have got very open chakras and you're very like open energy. You may be feeling depleted, and that might be why there's this one-sided feeling of like giving out a lot of energy, but then getting a bit exhausted or feeling a bit not depressed, but just like depleted. It can be emotional neutral, but it can also be when you're feeling kind of depleted. I wonder if Solstice will make an appearance. That would be nice. For those that don't know, Solstice is my cat and she's my familiar, and I manifested her. You can watch a video on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna finish drinking the tea. Let me see if I get anything else. I feel like something's bubbling up to the surface to be, well, I want to say to be released, but it's not actually fully releasing. So tonight and in the following days is a very good energy to release in terms of what isn't serving you, or releasing blocks or resistance. It feels like something's bubbling away under the surface. I'm actually being guided to get a card. I'm just going to do whatever comes through in this reading. We will do tea leaf, but justice, that's about this kind of give and take. There could be something karmic going on at the moment. There could be some kind of karmic retribution or something balancing out. But also, do you see, especially in this deck, there's like a king, and then there's a beggar, and then there's the justice, and it's like difference in power between these people, different status, give and take. It has a bit of a 6 of Pentacles vibe to it, which maybe what did I get? Like, I said something, what did I say? Because I channel, I don't remember anything. I think I got like one-sidedness or something. It was the friendship, wasn't it? Used by others. Okay, 6 of Swords tells me there's a moving away from difficulties. I think it fell out in the reverse. So some of you, especially in this, maybe in this full moon, I try not to believe in like astrology, but I believe in the lunar cycle. And the full moon is a good time to release. 6 of Swords in reverse can be something from the past that you haven't fully released. So that may be this bubbling away under the surface, something from the past coming up. For some of you, you're going to either hear something or receive something. It feels a bit like a missed opportunity though, because this fish is falling out of the cup, and this guy is like, where is this fish going? What's happened? And then with the 7 of Swords, this is sneaky behavior. So especially with this thing of like what I said about used by others, someone may be very out of their integrity in your life. It could be also you self-sabotaging. Remember guys, this is not a personal reading, so you have to see how it fits. This can be the card of someone who walks away, or who ghosts, or who cheats, or anything like that. I'm getting revealed secrets though. So with this full moon, you may actually find something out in an unexpected way, but it feels like it's all about loyalty and disloyalty. And remember, this is also a timeless video, but the energies that I'm keying into right now, which will be timeless, there's something of like a strategy, but I do feel like fairness and balance is going to be brought in. For some of you, it's about you needing to be very careful about the moves that you make, because this can sometimes be a card of just being very planned out, being very cautious, tactical. Especially for some of you, if you're in some kind of legal situation, there's a need for you to be very tactical and think through what you're doing and look at all the contracts carefully and be sure you're not walking into a difficult like trap or situation, or someone pulling the rug from under you. Feels like something around the past with this card coming out in the reverse basically comes up again. And And it could be something that kind of almost slipped through the gaps before. So something you didn't maybe necessarily pay enough attention to in some way. Now I can't remember anything I said in the beginning. I'm channeling. Hopefully it's resonating for whoever it needs to resonate with. Okay, so Spirit, what is it that this collective need to know? Oh. Sorry, guys. By the way, when I drink mugwort tea, it makes me completely psychic. So this is one of the readings that I only do one of these like a day. If people book multiple mugwort teas, I have to do them over separate days because it's actually quite a lot, even just the drinking of it and stuff. But I did feel like doing it today. For a lot of people, it just helps you sleep and it's really good with like female hormones and stuff like that. But for me, it like does something to open up my spiritual centers like a lot. I wanted to have the camera here so I can show you guys the tea leaves though. So let's have a look. This almost, I mean, I don't know whether you're going to see it the right way that I see it. This almost looks like a man with a briefcase to me, or like a man carrying a bag, like carrying like a suitcase. So for some of you, there could be something around travel. It could also be that someone comes in with like a package or a letter. It has that kind of energy to it to me, either of someone going or coming. It's interesting that we have two big lumps. So I think there's two, and they kind of look a bit like they're like Rorschach, like folded paper, ink blot mirroring type energy. I feel like there's two like big things that are coming up in the next little while. One of them may involve some kind of news that you get, or visitor or something like that, something coming into your life. From the other, I get a kind of ship. It doesn't necessarily look like a ship, but I'm getting like a ship energy from it. So again, it's to do with maybe distance, travel, but I'm getting a protective, like, you know, like a ship that has lots of protection, like kind of old fashioned, like defense systems or something. So again, I do think there's a need for protection and defense in terms of your space and your energy. Also, I feel for a lot of you doing something like yoga, this looks like a yoga pose to me. I don't know if you guys can see it, how I see it, if my thing is mirroring or not, but it looks like someone kind of in squat pose in yoga. Very good for grounding. There may be a need to connect to your body, to feel things in the body, to allow them to kind of transmute. I'm seeing a U, I'm seeing an I and a U as well. So those initials may be significant. And I get from that IOU. I almost feel like for some of you, if there's some kind of legal situation in your life where someone has like taken something from you, it feels like some kind of reparation coming in, but it involves you pulling back your energy. I feel like there's some kind of conclusion and freedom in this, especially if someone's been very greedy. And it doesn't have to be a legal situation. It can be a karmic situation where somebody has taken something that is yours, even if it's just your energy. And it feels like there's a balancing out of it, but it obviously requires you to allow yourself to move away from this situation as well. Weird, like reflection of the candle. Okay, I want to use some other cards and see what we get. I'll refer back to the candle and the tea and everything. What do we need to know for this collective? Is that, okay, 10 of Pentacles. So for some of you, this involves your career, your stability, your family life. There's some kind of new beginning. Now, for some of you, this could be about a relationship. For some of you, if you've been dealing with someone who's married, and there's something about like needing a divorce or something like that, especially if it was some kind of affair, it feels like maybe there's a new beginning coming in around all of that. But I honestly feel like a lot of you, it feels like you're free and in your independent energy. Tower card feels like something does crumble to enable something to be built on a more firm foundation. For some of you, it could be like a relationship comes to an end and you are in this independent energy having a new beginning. For others of you, if you're involved with someone who's in a relationship or a marriage, that may come to an end to enable them to have a new beginning, because there is something around all of this that's a bit deceptive. And I'm giving every scenario I can get, because this is not a personal reading and I'm getting multiple things. So it's like not just one clear-cut reading. So you guys need to apply it to yourselves. But for a lot of you, this is some kind of commitment with the Hierophant. It's two things I'm getting. Either a commitment or some kind of legal case or something involving like the authorities, because the Hierophant can also be courts, the authority, university, school, stuff like that. So it's two, and that's interesting because I got these two distinct lumps and I was like, there are two areas, but it may be that this is about like there are two storylines here, or for some of you, these two things are linked together, like it's a divorce, you know, which would involve relationship and court and endings and deception if you're like someone who's dealing with a married person or something like that. And if it's not literal courts, it could all be like a karmic, like what's going on karmically at the moment. I did get for one of these things, there would be someone bringing in news, and for the other thing, it's about defending yourself. So I think for the people who are in the relationship thing, you're going to hear something that is maybe a revelation. And for the people who are in the court thing, you need to be careful of defending yourself and being very strategic. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. What is it that you want to put your time and energy into? Is there something that is not really like giving back in the same way that you're putting the energy in? Is there something that isn't capable of like a solid foundation? You're being asked, and for some of you it could be about leaving a job, but it's really about anything that is untenable and built on a bad foundation and not having the stability, just falling apart. But I think it does lead to like a new beginning that is more stable and a release from anxiety. This is a card of anxiety, sleepless nights. You know, your body is your compass. So when you feel good and relaxed, that is like a green light from the universe. When you feel anxious and tight and constricted in whatever situation you're in, that is the universe saying to you, you know, this is not a good thing. Fuck me. Sorry. If I ever become big on YouTube, the swearing might become an issue and I'll have to stop. But it's involuntary. Tower twice. That is a warning. I have to say, the Tower twice, and like only take it if it resonates, guys. But the Tower twice, and I do feel for the collective with this energy of this full moon, some kind of revelation in some aspect of your life. Six of Swords again. It enables you to move away from something, but something that is not built on a good foundation is going to be crumbling. And it is a bit of a warning, because it can be that the universe has given you lots of red flags and you've ignored them. And so then it gives you the Tower, because it's like, this situation is untenable. It has to shift, and the universe will shift it. There's some kind of decision involved. And again, these two things. So it could be for some of you choosing between two things, choosing between a relationship and your own boundaries, or choosing between your relationship and your career. There's like these two different areas. One of them involves a person and what they can bring to you, whether that's you getting a message or whether that's what they can bring to you in terms of give and take. And the other thing is very much about like defensiveness. I'm also getting a kite from it. Don't know if you can see this one. It looks a bit battleship-like, but it also looks a bit like a kite somehow. It's very like kite-shaped. But that to me is about like flying free, but also being tethered. So it's a thing about like wanting freedom but feeling constricted, and then needing to defend your freedom while at the same time remaining tethered to something. So it's a bit of a like dichotomy between wanting to be free but also wanting to have connection. I do see a pound sign. So for a lot of you, this is a financial thing as well, like maybe around your career and choices you need to make, and not wanting to feel tied down, and maybe even wanting to go freelance. You know, this is a general reading, so it's a lot of things. But Spirit is advising you manifest, empower yourself, do what is the most empowering for yourself. Everything else will fall into place. It's like once you work on self, everything else falls into place. So make your decisions based on what is empowering for you, what is exciting for you. As I said, following your bliss. I want to use this deck. I was drawn to using very specific decks for some reason. I'm not going to go on too much longer. I do have quite a lot of personal readings, but I'm really enjoying doing the readings, guys. But I also feel like my rant in the last video was very useful and it's worth thinking about. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it if you're interested. Okay, Death card. So there is some kind of transformation. I didn't actually ask the question. So let's see, what is it that we need to know? Did the Death card already come out? No, but we've had Tower twice. So there is some kind of ending here. And for a lot of you, it's an end to illusions. It's an end to something that wasn't built on something firm anyway. It's an end to deception. So although it feels difficult, it's actually freeing you. You're not really losing anything because what was there wasn't necessarily real. Even if your feelings that were tied around it were real, at its core, it wasn't. It was like puff. It was like Seven of Cups vibes. The Hermit. And if for a lot of you this is about going inwards, journeying inwards, being alone, I do get sort of solo energy from this. And even if that's just going your own way in terms of what you do in your career. I want to get one more of these. I'm wondering why the Four of Cups hasn't come out, because I channeled it, but maybe it will make an appearance. The Empress. So for a lot of you, I do remember my channeling of like Mother, Maiden, Crone, and the dark side of the feminine. And so for a lot of you, if you're, especially if you're in a twin flame thing, it's not a twin flame reading at all, but for those that are, I know some of you are, it's about ridding yourself of the shadow of the dark side of the feminine in relation to that. And also, even if you're not in that connection, it's just about coming into a more authentic side of the feminine energy. And we all have masculine and feminine energy, but it's about empowering and embodying the Empress rather than like playing at it in some way, if that makes sense. And that may involve radical change, transformation, and going inwards and drawing away from things, because I think it was this energy of you being very giving in the beginning that I channeled and needing to construct some kind of boundaries to keep your energy protected and safe. And that's very much like the Hermit energy, like withdrawing your energy away to kind of keep yourself sequestered and safe at this time. I love this deck because it has like a very poetic interpretation of the cards, and I'm going to read it. Now enthroned, we see the possibility of form as female, which circles triangles. The star behind the woman as woman. The star behind the star as woman. Just as pin-ups stumbled over in summer fields, initiated us to the sexual devouring of ourselves, so the Empress presents herself to us now. The rays and the lineaments received from the High Priestess find their vessel in the woman on the pedestal, i.e. the gate of heaven, the proto-aspect of the divine feminine. To be afraid of life is to be afraid of yourself. This is the first mythic menage a trois. See also the lovers are lust, the tower, the moon. Divinatory meaning: love, worship, sensual pleasure, knowledge of beauty, luxury, music of love, calling on, inquisitiveness, thirst for knowledge, heroic striving, hidden potential, sexual exploration, sex as initiation, dream date, royal wedding, fervor, reincarnation, making ideas flesh, pornography, pleasure, fullness, satiety, a garden, mother, teacher, lineage, the door, the way, the joy. And in the reverse, terror, anxiety, body horror, self-doubt, failure to thrive, misogyny, emasculation, false expectations, restlessness, laziness, lack of stability, inability to embrace the here and now, sexual confusion, illusion, overindulgence, religious fervor, revolution, pornography, idealization, disgust, misunderstanding, mother, a swamp, sorrow. I'm only going to read that card because that is what I was getting in the beginning of this like dichotomy between these aspects of the feminine. And for a lot of you, there's something that's going on either in terms of a karmic situation, in terms of a relationship, or for others of you, it's to do with your job or your career, or even a legal thing. But whichever of those things it is, and maybe it's all tied together and it's a big karmic lesson that involves a divorce, there is a need to reintegrate the positive aspects of the divine feminine and face the shadow of the divine feminine and integrate it. It's not even releasing it, it's integrating it. But by releasing it, you're acknowledging it, so that will begin to integrate it. Hope it makes sense. I will be using my deck in a minute, which is also quite deep, but let's get an angel card to keep things light. I'm not going to go on too much longer. It's very channeled, so I don't remember everything I'm saying. Okay, choices. When you worry about decisions, it means your mind is trying to control your life, and that results in choices made from your ego. Your angel guidance is to consider and evaluate all the options, then let go of your head and choose from your heart that which gives you the greatest joy and feels right. This is what I said about following your body as a compass, and I said there's a decision that needs to be made here. I didn't even mention that the Chariot card is here, but it's about, I don't think I did, it's about needing a decision as well as the Two of Wands. And it's about needing to bring the opposites together in order to move forward. So it's uniting the polarities of light and dark in terms of psychology in order to progress forwards. For some of you, there are major issues around the mother or motherhood or your mother or you as a mother or things like that as well with the Empress. But of course, that links to everything I said already. Do not act from foolish impulse, however, rather from divinely prompted inspiration. Make choices for the highest good. Remember that if something is not for your highest good, it certainly is not for the highest good of those around you. So let go of false feelings of responsibility for others and choose with wisdom. I always say everything that I need to say in the readings for people in the first minute that I channel, I realize this more and more as I do readings, and then the cards just back it up. But this is what I said about you needing to protect your energy and not just depleting yourself and giving it out. That's not actually helping anyone, let alone you, but also not them. This is the false feeling of responsibility, and this may be the sabotage and the deception and the dark side of the divine feminine that I got from the very beginning. So that's giving love in order to receive love, or feeling like you need to be worthy of stuff by being perfect and good, and it's like, no. And the universe is going to shatter anything around that, even your own belief in yourself as a spiritual person that is so good, when actually you're like over nurturing and smothering in the dark side of the divine feminine. So interesting, right? Become still and attuned to your soul. Ask your angels for guidance and help. Then from your point of inner stillness, make your choices easily and spontaneously. And again, like following your true intuition, not your fear, not your projection, and not, and like following your body as the compass. And the affirmation is, I choose for my highest good. And sometimes your highest good is not the thing that is the easy thing or the thing you want or the thing that you kind of desire. Sometimes your highest good is like actually treating yourself like a child that you loved, seeing it doing something self-destructive and being like, don't do that. Like, I know you want to just have milkshakes all day long every day. I'm saying it because I just had a milkshake. I'm not shaming anyone for like, I'm not like a vegan psychic or anything, but you know, if you had a child and it just wanted to eat milkshakes every day, you'd be like, I can understand that, but is it good for you? It's that kind of thing of like not going for what you want, but doing what's good for you, like having some vegetables, doing some yoga, cutting the person out of your life that you feel compelled to look after that is sucking you dry, and you know, all of this stuff. I don't know for the legal stuff. I think there's some kind of decision around that as well. There's a decision that needs to be made, and if you don't make it, there will be a tower moment where everything has to fall apart so that the decision gets made, but better that you make it yourself. You know what I mean? Hermit again. So the Hermit energy is about going inwards and really being in your own energy. And this is a bit like the Four of Cups in my deck. I didn't even notice I was using my deck already. Everything I'm doing is like channeled. And this is a bit like the Four of Cups in my deck. I'll read it to you. It's depression, it's melancholia, all the stuff I said in the beginning. So instead of thinking of the Four of Cups, I was probably thinking of this description because it's extremely specific. My father wrote the guide to this. He's a Jungian psychoanalyst. It's not a replacement for therapy. He is also a psychic. I'm working on my second deck at the moment. It will be in a solo show in November, and then editions will be available. One of the things I'm working on this year. Okay, the Hermit. The stage of the king in his Laconian bath. A process to free himself of the coating of melancholia that was clogging his body so much that he desired death or a cure. The vaporous bath, with its process of sublimation, circular distillation and refinement, cleanses him of all impurities and leads to a recovery from his depression. Again, needing to cleanse your energy and your space, and maybe even doing some kind of ritual with water would be good, but being in your own energy is important at the moment, okay? Part of the Nigredo, which is the shadow phase in alchemy, and it's a kind of depression phase, it's a depression before change. So for some of you, if you're having a dark night of the soul, it is going to be this sort of Nigredo depression before change. It's an enlightenment though. It's like it changes everything after it, okay? And we have the death card too, so definitely. It's like the rotting down of all that was to make a compost to create something new. Damaging or destroying the ego, so it's like an ego death, even if that is about you being this divine feminine or this spiritual person that is so wonderful. And that's not gender specific, by the way. If you're like not identifying as a woman who watches this, it's not a gender thing, it's an energy thing, okay? Okay. Presence of melancholia or depression accompanied by changes in the soul. In the process of change and development, there are changes to the psyche and its structures. There are changes to the ego and the process of Nigredo leading to depression. The depression is inseparable to the process of Nigredo. The individual may draw away from others, feel lonely, go inwards, experience stasis, experience endometrioma, anxiety and depression. And there was a card of anxiety here as well, and all of the things I got right in the beginning. When balanced and part of conducted therapy, this withdrawal into the self can be enhancing and gives insight into the promptings of the unconscious, which is what I feel, but it can also be a time of anxiety, fear, and also a harbinger of growth and change. I should learn how to pronounce the words in my deck, right? Obviously, if you guys are feeling like you have some kind of clinical depression, I would recommend also having therapy, as well as using manifestation to help improve your self-concept alongside therapy, okay? Please, I'm not like a therapist. And the thing that disturbs me most about doing readings is when I feel like people actually want therapy, because it's not what psychic readings should be used for. And I think a lot of psychics are just bad therapists, and they're not even psychic, and they've created this kind of culture of cheap therapy by someone who is often as like misguided as the person they're trying to help and has no qualifications, and that is a big worry. So I don't know why I'm doing that rant, but if you feel like you're using tarot or any kind of spirituality as a bypass for actual psychological help that you need, don't do that. I'm not going to encourage it. But yes, you can use spirituality as a way of enlightenment as well. And some of you are going through a bit of a dark night of the soul. You might want to watch my dark night of the soul video that I've done fairly recently as well, because maybe I am picking up on this in the collective. The readings I do on the channel are not for me, and if I do one and I realize I'm reading for myself, I don't put it on the channel, or I unlist it if I realize later it was a psychic prediction, which has happened once. But, I'm not reading for me, so there's a reason why. Even if some of the things, like the twin flame things, coincide with my stuff, I do readings for myself that are separate. Just feel like I should let you guys know that. But yeah, some of you might be going through like a dark night of the soul type vibe at the moment. And in the reverse, which is the shadow aspects to watch out for, this is promptings of the psyche that are unheeded, withdrawal from life that is depressive due to unfaced fears, sadness or anger turned inwards. A lot of spiritual people say there is only love and fear. And I think, you know, I was speaking to my friend the other day and she's like, the life unlived is what people regret. And it's about really just like being true to yourself. And I'm so glad that I'm not someone that has fear in that way. Like I can be self-sabotaging, but some people are like debilitated by fear. And that's where manifestation can be really good to empower you. But yeah, this is about going inwards in the terms of fear. And this is where I think you have to get the balance right. If you are this kind of giving, nurturing person, that you're not depleting yourself trying to be like a good person, but actually you're just creating imbalance and unhappiness for yourself and not really helping the person that you are assuming you're helping anyway, because it's a kind of codependency. Okay. There may be depressive escapism and a denial of life pressures. There may be increased obsessive, compulsive, or phobic avoidant behaviors to reduce tension and anxiety. Okay. I just want to see quickly, like, just very quickly, because I don't want this to be too long. And I feel like if the video suddenly cuts out, it's because my data, not my data, but my storage, because I've done lots of readings. What is the Tower card about? Five of Cups. So there's some sadness. Some of you may have suffered a loss. There could be grief. There could be a third party situation or past sadness. And you may lose hope of the fact that there is actually love still available to you. So some of you may be dealing with someone who's very toxic and you feel like you've lost your ability to love. Nine of Cups in reverse. It feels like your wishes and dreams have been taken from you. Four of Pentacles in reverse. There's a need to let go and surrender. I do believe that there is going to be love coming in for you, and there is going to be some kind of passionate new beginning. You need to get out of this kind of victim mentality if this is resonating. And that's not to shame anyone, but, you know, it's said with love. And obviously get therapy if you need it, or do self-love manifestation as well. Hierophant says to me that this could be around some kind of high spiritual connection or something to do with a marriage or a commitment. Hang on, let me just see, what is the Tower card? Yeah, it's just a need to put down heavy burdens and not carry other people's stuff and have good boundaries. It's like you can't get anywhere when you're carrying all this stuff from the past. So I think it's a slow accumulation of stuff building up that is going to have to be released. And what is the future of this situation? What deck should I use? Because it's so channeled, I can't even really work out what I'm saying, but we'll stop it soon. What's the future of this situation for those that this is resonating with? There's a need to have firm boundaries, to not give up hope, but to be very protective of your energy and your space, and connect into your divine feminine intuition. I do feel there are some kind of secrets here, but ultimately it leads towards you moving on from something. So the outcome of this is that you move away and you move on, and this enables a new beginning where you have much more clarity. There's no illusion. There's something that may be communicated to you, but you have two aces, and we've had the Ace of Wands already. So there's a kind of passionate, clear, new beginning, maybe creativity stirred up, maybe learning new things. I did get the Eight of Cups when I looked in there, of like some of you physically moving away from something, and with the Tower card, it could be a breakup, someone moving away from you, or something, it's an ending. The Eight of Cups can only mean an ending. There are some cards in tarot that they just mean what they mean. And that is the Eight of Cups. With the Tower card, it's like a breakup. And a need to protect your energy. So it's either a breakup or a change of job or whatever that, you know, whatever makes sense to you. For some of you, there was another woman involved in this, or there's something going on around that. And it brings a lot of sadness. So either that, or you just need to kind of embrace yourself. But with the Devil card, I feel there's a karmic situation going on here. And 10 of Wands again, it's untenable. It's untenable with these energies. So I hope it makes sense. Let's get one more angel card for advice. advice. Fun. Your guidance is to take time and enjoy yourself. Relax and find your sense of humor. Treat things lightly. Fun brings out lightness of spirit, and the most difficult situation can be eased if you see the funny side of things. So cultivate a sense of the ridiculous. I cocoon myself in comedy when I need to, and it works very well. How can you bring play, laughter, and fun into your social life, your relationships, your work life? When you have fun, the angels rejoice, for there is nothing they love more than joy, play, humor, and laughter. I master my emotions. So it's about going inwards, protecting your energy, but allowing yourself to experience joy with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones, and leave whatever this dark situation is. Like, put down the burden of it. Did something crazy happen to the candle? Maybe I just blew it. Put down the burden of it, and focus on the light. But that's not to say like bypass it, because I do think you need to actually acknowledge what you're feeling and what is going on here in order for it to shift. Surrender to the divine, exactly. And that's the full moon, and that is tonight's energy. So there's a big surrender going on here. Show the world the real you. Another full moon in Aquarius. We just had it, we're in full moon in Leo now, but opposite sign is Aquarius, and we're in Aquarius. There is something about taking off the mask, being true to yourself. Time to give rather than take. That was the give and take I got in the beginning. Not over giving in order to receive, really assessing your give and take and why you give and what your relationship dynamics are and your patterns are. That there is some kind of big change coming in. And with the Tower card, you know, expect powerful change. It's not always like a fluffy experience. It may really tear you down in some ways, but it is for your highest good. And I think you're being called to trust that. And when it does become overwhelming and when you feel like you've been in the hermit mode too long, allow yourself to have fun. Even if you're going through, for some of you, maybe going through a bereavement or a serious breakup, both, or a big legal case. It's okay to also feel good sometimes. Like, you don't need to feel guilty about that as well. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Yeah, it's part of a kind of, it's one more board in the bridge of incidents. It's like you're going through a dark night of the soul to get to a higher vantage point. Seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan, and a grandmother of Jesus. Some of you may have grandmother energy around you in spirit, but it's saying that this is all kind of planned out for you. With soul family coming out, as I said, that definitely loved ones in spirit around you at this time, but also connecting into your soul tribe, your friends, you know, things like that. Exactly. Protection, call back your power, cut cords, soul retrieval. There is a need to protect your energy, guys. Do my soul retrieval meditation. It's my latest video on on YouTube. On my Etsy, I have a cord cutting meditation as well. There's a need to pull your energy back from something. You may be feeling lonely if you are a light worker or you're on the spiritual path, but that doesn't mean that you need to kind of give of yourself endlessly into a situation, even if you feel it is some kind of destined thing, but lose yourself, because that's not actually the spiritual way. Do you see what I mean? No, wait, postpone, pause, say no. This is a bit like the Tower card. So if things feel blocked off and restricted, it's because for some reason it's not meant to be open to you at the moment. Regeneration. But it does feel like after whatever needs to fall apart falls apart, you are going to rebuild it. There is some kind of rebirth going on here, which is going to be powerful. It's not going to feel easy, but expansion is difficult. Like, awakening is not like, oh, rainbows and unicorns. It can be extremely challenging. Let's get a final astrology card. Oh. Just one. Okay. 11th house, friends. Did I say I got the friendship rune in reverse right in the beginning, didn't I? Crazy, I get everything right in the beginning. So I feel like this is about the people that you have in your life, those kind of, it can be about love as well, but it's about any kind of in relationship kind of dynamic. But I do think that for some of you, there's like especially if you are undergoing an awakening, often you're like, who are my friends now? Why do I feel out of alignment with the old version of myself and the people I used to know? For some of you, there is a need to actually connect into your friends more. It's about the friendships which nourish you and then the kind of connections which drain you and distinguishing between them. With the Pisces, I believe, the dark or the kind of shadow side of Pisces can be escapism and fantasy and illusion. And that came up. So I do think there is both something very beautiful and spiritual and divine feminine within the collective, but on the flip side of that, there is a sense of illusion that needs to be shattered, which is part of the awakening process and the continual surrender that people go through as well. Any kind of ego construct, be it your friends, your job, your relationship, even your spirituality and how spiritual you can be, that can just be another ego construct that is actually very much based in the ego and is not about spirituality. Because spirituality for me is like, we are all one, we are all connected, and it's not this idea of like yourself being this like good spiritual person. To me, that can also be as much a false trapping of the ego as anything else, as can the idea of like the divine feminine and all these other things we hear a lot about within the spiritual community. So I think there's a kind of breaking apart of some of these things, still retaining the magic and the beauty of the Pisces energy and this emotional energy, but a real deep questioning of how you operate within relationships, how there may be codependency, overgiving, and this is not just romantic connections, this can be your friendships as well. But also this is to say to you guys in a more positive way, keep believing in your dreams, you know, and also surround yourself with people that support you. So I think that's a good place to end it. I hope that was helpful. As I said, if you want a personal reading, the details will be in the description box below. I'll be back either next weekend or the one after, depending how busy I am with another free reading on the channel. So I'll put a thing up to vote for the next reading. And as I said, I've got stuff on sale for the love aspect, like love relationship, love readings on sale. When I don't channel, I can't get the words out. Love readings on sale until the 9th. Yeah, I hope that's helpful, guys. Closing down the energies, restoring the auric fields. I send love and light out into the world. I send our wishes forth in smoke. Happy full moon, my loves. Take care.